Alright, welcome back everybody. This is the most terrifying things in the universe. I don't know what this is about to show. It's about to probably show like supernovas and super giants and black holes. I don't know. The most terrifying things in the universe. We're about to see what those are all about.
Let's start with the scary and slowly work our way towards the most terrifying ones on the list. Number 10, space junk.
Yeah,
As it turns out, our planet is not the only thing we treat like a giant trash can, since space is slowly becoming a giant landfill as well. There are currently millions of pieces of man-made junk in Earth's orbit, with over 30,000.
What's it that? Why is that there? Does that go away? Bro, I'm looking at this bar. I'm not trying to really look at it. Hello. Yeah, that's a little bit better. But why is it messing up the video? My bad, y'all. Was it open it back up? See if that does anything. But how y'all guys they been doing? I don't know, man. I just gotta find something to talk about. Try to pass the time because I'm not trying to cut this out. So YouTube. All right. I can just go to the previous windows. Right?
Let's start with the scary and slowly work our way towards the most terrifying ones on the list. Number 10, space junk. As it turns out, our planet is not the only thing we treat like a giant trash can, since space is slowly becoming a giant landfill as well. There are currently millions of pieces of man-made junk in Earth's orbit, with over 30,000 of them being...
Hey, yo, what's going on?
Over 10 centimeters long,
y'all see me clicking it, right?
4 inches. Now, the reason why this is so scary is that the number of junk is only growing. But this really shouldn't worry you, since I'm sure we'll eventually get around to cleaning it, which usually only happens when it becomes a big enough problem that our government is forced to do something about it. You see, the growing amounts of space junk are becoming a major problem for space exploration and travel, and NASA has already had to course correct 32 times since 1999 to avoid satellites and space debris. Now, you're probably thinking, this is an issue that you will never have to worry about, since you never leave the house.
It gotta be crazy, you know, everything like going at a different speed. You coming up at like, I say 5 miles an hour. It's not 5, probably like 50,000. If we're going up 5,000 miles, something else is hitting you at 20 because it's been spinning around the Earth for like 2 years.
Let alone plan on traveling to space. But as it turns out, the space debris might just come to you. There have been many reports of large pieces of metal, spaceships, and satellites landing on people's property and homes. But I'm sure the majority of the pieces go unreported since they most likely land in the ocean, where they blend in with the rest of the trash. Number 9, cosmic voids. As we leave Earth's orbit and begin to look further out into the universe, we quickly begin to discover all sorts of terrifying things. But before we get to those, I want to focus on...
Why is that the scariest thing? Just space and nothing. You know, as soon as you leave space, there's no light, there's no reflection or nothing, so it's not even black, it's just void. As soon as you leave the Earth atmosphere, if you like look at astronauts' pictures, it's just blank, nothing. No reflection.
I literally mean nothing. You see, there are vast spaces in the universe that don't contain anything at all. No planets, no stars, no moons, no McDonald's, no asteroids, nothing. These empty spaces are known as cosmic voids, and in some cases they can be hundreds of millions of light years in diameter. This would create a long and lonely space trip for anything that decides to journey across them. Unless, of course, you were blessed with being an introvert, since we are completely immune to this weakness. Now, I know these large numbers are very hard to grasp, so let me just show you what this all looks like. Here's an illustration of the Virgo supercluster, which contains around 100,000 galaxies, including our home, the Milky Way. Now, let's zoom out and take a look at the areas here. These are cosmic voids. This particular one here is called Boötes Void, and is one of the largest voids in the known universe, spanning around 330 million light years wide. For perspective, the entire Milky Way galaxy, which is home to at least 100 billion planets, is 100,000 light years wide. Okay. Number 8, dead galaxies. Dead galaxies are galaxies that have run out of cold hydrogen gas, which is necessary to fuel stars and create new ones. These dead galaxies will be the first to become completely dark and lifeless, leaving behind a cold and lonely cemetery. But for now, these galaxies appear red as they burn through their last remaining energy that they will ever have. Now let's get to the terrifying part. All galaxies, including our own, will eventually run out of energy, and it's hypothesized that the entire universe eventually will as well. A stage that is referred to as the Dark Era, and it's speculated to be the final state of the universe, leaving behind a cold and dark universe where light and energy cease to exist. Number 7. Planets.
They say energy can be created or destroyed, so there's energy still out there. It's the microwave background then, right? It's not just the planets. But if there's a physical matter, there's energy there. It's just, I don't know how you want to say it, man. It's not empty, it's just
NASA estimates that there are at least 100 billion planets in the Milky Way galaxy alone.
So if it spreads out, wouldn't it collect somewhere else and become another galaxy?
And over 6 sextillion planets in the observable universe. That's 21 zeros, by the way. Not that it even matters, since none of us could even come close to comprehending that. So instead, people try to visualize this by saying that there are more planets in the known universe than grains of sand on Earth. And for those of you that have never been to the beach, take it from someone who has. We still can't comprehend this number either. Now, we don't have to look far to find some truly terrifying planets, since we have a few of them here in our own solar system. But let's just take a look at the scariest one, Jupiter. This planet is an absolute nightmare, and is scary enough to just look at. Jupiter's a giant gas planet that is 1,300 times larger than Earth and is covered in violent storms, as I'm sure you already know. But really quickly, here are just a few of the ways Jupiter would absolutely mop the floor with you. Radiation exposure, dead. Atmospheric pressure, dead. 400 plus mile per hour winds, dead. Struck by lightning, dead. You overheat, dead. You freeze, dead. You decide to breathe, dead. But if Jupiter's not scary enough, our galaxy has many other horrific planets to choose from. Like planets that constantly rain molten iron or...
Like, this has to make you think, like, is life only, like they say, like extremophiles, whatever they call them, like life forms that exist in extreme environments. What about these? But they're all still on Earth. But if you leave Earth, is life even possible? I know you probably need an atmosphere, like pressure. Like a pressure suit, which is the atmosphere around the planet, and I think 3 states of matter: solid, gas, and liquid, right? But most planets don't have that. Most planets only have 2, even 1. I think Mars has 2, maybe 3. I think it has small pockets of water, but I don't think the atmosphere is big enough where it can turn into
or molten glass, planets that are entirely covered in ice, planets that are entirely covered in lava, planets that are entirely covered in water, planets that are just completely dark, planets with giant hurricanes the size of Earth. Nope, that's just Jupiter again. I told you that place sucks. Number 6, aliens. Ever since we were young, Hollywood has conditioned us to be scared of aliens, so it's no surprise that this one would end up on the list. Movies like Aliens, Signs, Predator, Cloverfield, The Thing, and of course The Goat, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, all made aliens incredibly violent and terrifying. And when Hollywood finally attempted to create a friendly and relatable alien, all they got right was his body type. And it definitely worked. Scientists say that it's only a matter of time.
Oh, it hasn't been recording? Oh, man.
Until we find the existence of aliens. But here's the thing, right? An alien or an extraterrestrial being is simply just something that is living that didn't originate on Earth. Yeah, so this could be something as small as bacteria. Earth, really. But if we're lucky, it could be a fish or mammal-like creature. But of course, this could be something infinitely more terrifying. And that's what makes this one so scary. We really don't know what's out there. Now, thankfully, we all know that first impressions are everything. So I'm hopeful that aliens will just take a quick look at Earth's orbit and decide not to visit, since we're obviously very dirty. Number 5, gamma ray bursts. Gamma ray bursts are the most powerful explosions in the known universe, releasing more energy in a second than the sun would in a billion years. This can occur a few different ways. Either when a star...
I think the only way that makes sense is because the star is completely blown up while the sun is radiating heat radiation and electromagnetic.
Argo supernova, when two neutron stars collide and form a black hole, or when a black hole swallows a neutron star. These massive bursts of energy are 1,000,000 trillion times brighter than the sun and could last anywhere from 10 milliseconds to several hours. Now here's what makes them so scary. The light produced can't be seen by the naked eye. So if Earth were to be hit by one of these powerful gamma ray bursts, we would never see it coming. And depending on how close the source of the gamma ray burst is, it would determine if life on Earth would survive. At a distance of 6,000 light years, it would cause mass extinction due to the deadly amounts of radiation. But if the gamma ray burst occurred further away but still managed to get a direct hit on us, it could still be catastrophic, since it would heavily damage all of our satellites and technology, shutting down the Wi-Fi. Now, thankfully, Earth is not really in danger of such an event, since our sun is far too small to produce this type of explosion. Instead, our sun will just grow so large that it slowly swallows the entire planet. Number 4. Colliding galaxies. With billions of galaxies traveling through the universe, some are bound to bump into one another. As a matter of fact, our galaxy will be one of them. The Milky Way is scheduled to crash into our neighboring galaxy, the Andromeda Galaxy.
Said scheduled, but like we got a time. There's so much space in between the galaxies, bro. They won't even touch.
Collision won't be for another 4 to 5 billion years. Hopefully long after humans have left Earth and populated other planets. But let's talk about what makes colliding galaxies so scary. As the two galaxies begin to get close to one another, their gravitational pull will bring them together. Now, surprisingly, planets crashing into one another would be extremely rare, since galaxies are mostly empty space. But what would happen is planets would be rearranged and shuffled around, knocking them away from their current solar systems and creating new ones. So any planet with life on it might be stuck with a new neighbor. Here are a few galaxies that are currently merging as we speak. Number 3, supernovas. Supernovas are the largest explosions that humans have ever seen. They can outshine their entire galaxy for a few days or even months, and can be seen across the universe. So
what is the difference between a supernova and a gamma ray burst? I thought they were the same thing, unless the gamma ray is just a smaller supernova.
Supernova can occur a couple of different ways. The first one is when a massive star runs out of nuclear fuel and collapses, causing it to go supernova. The second is when a white dwarf star gains enough mass by siphoning it from another nearby star, causing it to collapse and explode. But let's talk about what makes supernovas so scary. When a star goes supernova, it obliterates everything in its path and is powerful enough to destroy all life on any planet within 30 to 50 light years. For perspective, our sun is only about 4.2 light hours away from our furthest planet, Neptune. Even though supernovas are one of the most deadly events in the known universe, easily obliterating every living thing in their way,
we're like 4 light years
they make great screensavers.
Planet, right?
Number 2, black holes. Black holes are easily one of the most terrifying things in the known universe. It's mostly due to the fact that we don't fully understand how they work. But here's what we do know. There are 2 different types. The first one is called a stellar mass black hole and is roughly 3 to 1,000 times the mass of our sun. These are created when a large star goes supernova and collapses in on itself, creating a black hole. The second type is a supermassive black hole and can be millions to billions of times the mass of our sun. Also, we have no idea how these black holes are formed. And when I say we, I mean I couldn't find an answer using Google, got frustrated, and just came to the conclusion that the answer simply doesn't exist. But the most common theory I kept seeing is that a black hole must have swallowed another black hole, making it grow much larger. If there's anything I have learned while scripting this video, it's that astronomers and astrophysicists never give a simple answer to anything, so them resorting to the classic answer of, you eat, you grow, is quite comical, since I know firsthand that is not always the case. But with that out of the way, let's talk about what makes black holes so terrifying. Well, for starters, one of these supermassive black holes sits right at the center of our galaxy, gobbling up pieces of the Milky Way as we speak. Another reason why they're so creepy is simply for the fact that they are completely invisible. As I'm sure you know, this is because black holes have a force of gravity so strong that nothing can escape it, not even light. So the only way we can see where they are in the universe is by seeing how they interact with their surroundings. But the biggest reason why black holes are so high on the list is simply because we don't know what would happen if you were to enter one. Are they just wormholes? Or would you just get stretched out like a giant piece of spaghetti?
Most likely, like, I don't know why they make black holes so mysterious. if you get higher and higher in mass, wouldn't it just be more and more gravity be stronger and stronger closer to the surface of the object, or until the surface of the object is the gravity well? You feel me? Like you know, they say like gravity has a curve, but once you get to a black hole, wouldn't it be no curve? It just is absolute, like a wall.
I'm not kidding. That's the most agreed upon theory. They call it spaghettification. Or could it be a portal to an alternate dimension? We really don't know. Either way, all of these are absolutely terrifying. Number one, the size of the universe. Hands down, the most terrifying thing about the universe is its size. Just allow me to present my case.
Think about it. Like, you ever seen like two magnets? You ever try to push two magnets together? Like they're like just super close, but you can't. You try, but they won't touch. What if a black hole is when the magnetic field and all the forces are actually one? There's no edge. It's just, like I said, wall, absolute. There's no edge. There's no fractions. It's almost absolute until you see like the Hawking radiation coming off of it, come from in the black hole to out the black hole, which is like the smallest fraction quantum space, which is what's black hole and what's the outer black hole. Like the you know what you get what I'm saying. If you leave that in the comment section, I'll probably explain it better. And like,
does this image scare you? What about now? Exactly. Let me show you a few more illustrations before I rest my case. For simplicity's sake, let's start at ground level. This is you. You're probably in your room.
It's like when you see if you ever seen the picture of the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean touching, and there's two different buoyancies and densities in the water. It's kind of like this space and there's hole, or black hole.
Your room is in your home. Your home is here on Earth. Earth's home is in our solar system, which has 8 planets. Our solar system is part of the solar interstellar neighborhood, which is part of the Milky Way galaxy, also home to at least 100 billion other planets. The Milky Way galaxy is part of the local galactic group, which is home to 3 other galaxies. The 3 galaxies are all inside of the Virgo supercluster, which has hundreds of galaxies and galaxy clusters. The Virgo supercluster is part of the local superclusters. The local superclusters sit right at the center of the entire observable universe, which spans 93 billion light years wide. But it doesn't end there. This is just what we can see with the current technology we have, and we have no idea how much larger the universe is or if there's even an end to it. But of course, this doesn't stop us from speculating on its size or what could potentially be out there. Are there alien civilizations far more advanced than ours? Or alternate realities with infinite possibilities? Or maybe we're all just plugged into a computer, a simulation. After all, would this not be the best time in our known history to simulate? Or maybe Earth is flat and just like birds, space is not real. So none of this really matters. I guess in the end, it turns out that the scariest thing about the universe is not really up in space, but instead lives here inside of our imaginations.
That's crazy. That was a good video, man. The most terrifying things in the universe. What do y'all think? Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. More why.